Hey, welcome to another edition of the Five Star Zone. Rico Beard Howard. Well, he's doing his thing today. Why? Because the Big Ten came out with their 2024 schedule. Well, it actually went out to 2028, but let's just focus on next year, 2024 schedule. Biggest thing, there will be no more divisions. Done. Division games are gone. You're going to play 9 teams within your conference. They tried to balance it out with the two new teams coming in with Washington and Oregon, along with USC and UCLA. So they're trying to make it so that there's less travel time for those West Coast teams. But, guys, it's going to make for some great, interesting matchups. Each team will play 9 conference games. Well, why is 9 conference games important? Because I think it's going to really set the Big Ten apart from the SEC and the ACC. Especially the SEC only plays 8 conference games. As a matter of fact, I think the SEC is going to probably have to bump that up because it's going to hurt them, because the MSU and Michigan and the rest of the Big Ten going to be playing a lot of tough games. And with no conference schedule, remember, here's how it breaks down. All 18 schools will play each conference opponent at least twice, one home and one on the road in a 5-year cycle. They're going to try to maintain flexibility and control as the postseason format evolves. That's important. Here's why I think that's important, because eventually I think you're going to get to a semifinal Big Ten championship and then the winners will play in the Big Ten championship game. That's great, because here's what's going to happen. With all these new teams coming in, you don't want to be that unfortunate team that starts off 0-2 or 0-3, because now you kind of take yourself not only out of the college football playoff, but the Big Ten as well. This allows you a chance to kind of make things up, get better, and maybe eventually participate in a Big Ten semifinal game. Now, they have not said that as of now, but they put the language in there that it's possible. They also kept the 12 protected rivalry games locally. Michigan plays Ohio State and Michigan State's protected game is just Michigan State's protected game is just the University of Michigan. The only new one that they added from the last time this came out was the Oregon-Washington rivalry game. Other than that, it's pretty much wide open. Penn State, either they're geniuses because they said we're going to protect nobody, which means that some years they're going to get a great schedule and some years they're going to get a tough schedule because they don't have a guaranteed game they're going to play every year. I think the biggest thing locally, what you're looking at, is Michigan. They went from having a diabetes schedule to actually having a real schedule. Michigan next year at home, you're going to get MSU, Minnesota, Northwestern, Oregon, and USC. On the road, you're going to be at Illinois, at Indiana, at Ohio State, and you get to travel out to Seattle at Washington. Wow. If you're a Michigan season ticket holder, you're jumping for joy. If you're a Michigan fan and you love college football, you're jumping for joy. You went from this schedule this year, you'll win. But come on, guys. Even Michigan fans realize this is not a great schedule. Next year's schedule, man, some heavy hitters, at least name-wise. Oregon, USC, Ohio State, Washington, all on your schedule. Now, the thing is, what's USC going to be like without Caleb Williams? What's Washington going to be like without Michael Penix and all those NFL wide receivers? Oregon, what are they going to be without Bo Nix? So probably games that you could win, because all of those teams are going to have brand new quarterbacks. Remember, no Michael Penix, no Caleb Williams, no Bo Williams, but you're playing them. It's a name brand. For Michigan State, home games at Indiana. I mean, you've got Indiana at home, Iowa at home, Ohio State at home, Purdue at home, and Rutgers at home. So you have more of a traditional Big Ten games at home. The only thing that really changes for Michigan State next season, 2024, you're going on the road to Austin Stadium, Oregon, the University of Oregon. They played out there a while ago under Mark D'Antonio. It was a great game. Oregon won that game, and then State followed it up, and I think it was in 2014, and State had them in 2015 at home. So Michigan State goes to Oregon next season. All their away games are at Illinois, at Maryland, and at Michigan. So they get 5 home games, 4 road games for the Spartans, and Michigan gets 5 home games and 4 road games for the Wolverines. Wolverine schedule, a lot more name brands than the Michigan schedule, but it should be fun. I like that the Big Ten is doing this. I also like the fact that there is no more division. So You don't get the Big Ten West kind of skating to a title. You're going to get the best two teams. And I do think that eventually, I don't know if they'll even do it this upcoming season because there's no dates there yet. They're still working on things. But I do believe that eventually you're going to see a Big Ten playoff type of thing where you're going to have semifinal games and probably a final, Big Ten championship game, which I think is going to help. It's going to keep the conference more competitive so that you can truly get the best two teams out there. If you like college football, you're going to get college football. You're going to get name brands. You're no longer going to get Little Sisters of the Poor. You're getting some real games, real teams on your schedule. It should be fun. Like I said, remember the 12 protected rivalries, same 11 from the previous time, plus you're adding Oregon and Washington, 9 scheduled games. It's going to be 9 of them. And, every conference will play. Here's the big one. All 18 schools will play each conference opponent twice, one home and one on the road within a 5-year cycle, meaning I think Michigan State plays USC in 2025 at home. No, they're on the road, and then they got them again at home in 2028. So sometimes you'll see a team a lot. Sometimes it's going to take a few years in there, but pretty much if you stay at a school for 5 years, including your redshirt year, you will get to play a home and away game with every opponent that's there. That's the abbreviated version. This just came out. The dates are not set yet, but yeah, it's going to be exciting starting next season. Lots of games. I mean, man, it's going to be fun. A lot of name brands coming to the Big Ten. If you're Michigan, you're going to get to see pretty much all of them except for you at UCLA. If you're Michigan State, well, the only one you're going to get is Oregon. But then again, you've played Washington for the last 2 years in a row, and somehow I don't think you want to see Washington for a while. At least you don't want to see Michael Penix for a while. That may be true. Anyway, we'll have more on the scheduling stuff later. Howard would have joined me, but he was on the Big Ten Network giving us this announcement. So we'll have more on this later, along with the preview of the upcoming Big Ten slate and the weekend. Make sure you keep subscribing, keep liking, keep giving the great reviews for the 5-Star Zone. Tell your friends. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to the 5-Star Zone. I'm Rico Beard.